All right, good. So the first thing we're going to do before we get going, it says, welcome to your virtual classroom session on BIDMAS. So it says, how confident do you feel about this BIDMAS? So in the chat box, I want everyone to give me a number from 1 to 10. So an example might be, if you have no idea what BIDMAS is, if you've never heard of it before, maybe you might kind of give me a 1. If it is something you know about and you think you're confident of what it is, give me more of a 10. So I know there's a lot of people, but stick a number in the chat box and I'll kind of watch them come through, and it'll just give me an idea of how everyone's feeling about this topic. Okay, so I can see a few 1s, I can see a 9, a couple in the middle, about 5. Excellent. Okay, nice. Also, while you're doing that, just to let you know, I'm going to take a few screenshots as I go through the session. That way I can send out the notes of the session after the session as well. So if there's a slight pause in between slides, that's all I'm doing. All right, fantastic. Thanks, everyone. So I can see we've got a bit of a range, a few people on 1s, quite a lot in the middle, and a couple of people sort of have a number 9. So that's great. Let's jump on to what you can tell me about BIDMAS. So obviously, if you've put number 1, that probably means you haven't heard of BIDMAS before, and maybe you're not sure what it is. But I can see we have got a few people that do have a good idea of what it is. So I wonder if you can tell me then, what is BIDMAS? Can anyone begin to give us an idea of what BIDMAS is? So just give a couple of seconds, see if anyone throws anything out. If not, I'll give you a couple of clues, but let's just see what comments we get back first. Excellent, nice one, Libby. Good stuff. I can see that you've got a good idea of that. Great. So Libby's put brackets, indices, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Excellent. Heather has said the order in which you carry out the sum. So those 2 bits of information are pretty much everything you need to know about BIDMAS. So that's really good. So BIDMAS is what we call an acronym. And like Heather said here, and I'm actually going to copy Heather's bit of text. So excuse me for a sec there, and I'll put it here. So this is the important thing. So BIDMAS is the order in which you carry out a sum. And you can see here that we've got the letters B. So we've got brackets. So that's what the B stands for. I can see, so Claire and Heather, you both put indices as the second one for the I. Does anyone know what indices means? What is that? Can anyone explain what that is? Yeah, exactly, Adam. Yeah, great. Something to the power of. Good. So sometimes you talk about squared or cubed. So you might have a little 2 or a little 3. That's what we mean by indices. We'll talk about that more in a minute as we get into the session. We've got the M for multiplication. And then we've got the A for addition and the S for subtraction. My writing has gone a bit circular. There we go. Stick those on there. Good. So this acronym basically gives us a clue as to the order we need to do our sums. So that's the key thing we need to know for the session. And we're going to look at this in a little bit more detail and do a bit more practice as we go through. One final question before we get going. I just want you to tell me in the chat box, when was the last time you did a sum? So think about everyday life, maybe think about your workplace. Give me a quick example of the last time you did a sum. So Louise, you did one this morning. Excellent. Carl did one yesterday. Excellent. Can anyone give me a specific example of what their sum was? Okay, Louise, so you have to average something. Good stuff. It's quite a tricky one. So again, just take a quick screenshot of what we've done here. Good. Okay, so we've got one on Sunday as well. Good stuff. Excellent. So BIDMAS is really useful because when you're doing those sums, BIDMAS is a way of feeling really confident about those sums that you've done, because you'll be confident in the order that you're doing them, and you can be sure that you've kind of processed them in the right way. So BIDMAS is going to be super useful. Right, let's get into the session then, because I know these sessions are quite quick. So the first thing we're going to do in this session is explain what BIDMAS is, and we're also going to explain why we use it. So that's the key thing we're going to come away with from the session. Lisa, you've been doing invoices. Yeah, you'll definitely use BIDMAS for that. Excellent. The second thing we're going to do is do a couple of calculations using BIDMAS. We'll do these as a group, so we do a bit of practice together. And at the end, we're going to evaluate our knowledge. So that basically means you're going to have a go at a question on your own, and hopefully sort of process that correctly on your own. So they're the three aims of the session. And again, just take a quick shot of that. Okay. Right, so let's jump into it then. So we've actually done a lot of this work already in the chat box at the start. So let's just reconfirm what this is. So what is BIDMAS? Someone give me another nice, clear explanation of what BIDMAS is. And also, if you can remind me what BIDMAS stands for as well. And I'll just copy these up when you write them in the chat box. So remind me, what is BIDMAS? Why do we use it? Okay, good stuff. There we go. Got lots of people. Brackets, indices, division, multiplication, the order you do things. Exactly. Good. Yeah. Excellent stuff. So this is the key bit of information. So BIDMAS is a good way to remember the correct order of doing calculations. When you're doing BIDMAS then, what I would suggest you do is write BIDMAS at the bottom of your page. So whenever you're doing a maths kind of, maybe you're doing a practice paper, maybe you're doing the actual assessment, maybe you're just doing some sums at home, a good way to get started is to just kind of write BIDMAS in the corner of your page, just as a reminder that this is the order that we process sums. And when you look at a sum, you're going to look at it first and then look at the first letter, and you're going to ask yourself, are there any brackets in the sum? If there are, you're going to do your brackets first, and then you're going to say, are there any indices in the sum? If there are, you do the indices, and so on going through. So is there any division? Is there any multiplication? Is there any addition? And is there any subtraction? So you're really just asking yourself as you go through, checking the order that you do your sums. Okay, so I think we've kind of been over what BIDMAS is and why we use it. Has anyone got any questions at this point? Yeah, exactly, Paul. Yeah, great. So that's a nice comment from Paul there. So yeah, whenever you're doing your practice, get BIDMAS, note it down on your paper. It's something you're going to be using all the time. So let's jump on to an actual example and see how this works in practice. So there's BIDMAS down the side of my page. You can see I've got B for brackets, because that's the first thing, I for indices, and then we've got D and M for division and multiplication. and A and S for addition and subtraction. So these chunks are kind of the main sort of order that you're going to do things in. You can see that the word indices, you can see we've got an example of an indices just here, the little 2. So we're going to go through the order in a minute, but just to double check, if you had a sum that was 7 with a little 2, what does that mean? What are we supposed to do to the 7 if we've got a 7 and a little 2? Does anyone know? Square it. Good, Louise. Exactly. What does that mean, though? If you were to type that in the calculator, what would that look like? So it would be 49, but what would the actual sum be? Exactly, Adam. Yeah, so you're going to times it by yourself. So 7 squared would be 7 times 7. So that would be 49. Good. So that's what these indices mean. A little 2 means you do 7 times 7. So let's do this sum then using BIDMAS. So you can see the B means brackets, and we have got brackets. So that's going to be the first thing we do. So the first thing we're going to do is 3 plus 6. I know it says do addition last, but it's in the brackets, so that actually overrules it, and we're going to do that bit first. So what is 6 plus 3? So I just give everyone time to stick it in the chat box. Good. So yeah, throw it in there. Excellent. Lots of 9s. Good. So yeah, exactly. So you can see we do that bit first. And that comes to 9. Excellent. So what are we going to do next? Good, Louise. Yeah, so we're going to do the indices next. Perfect. And I think we've kind of done that already as a group. So we're going to do 7 times 7 because we've got 7 squared. And that is going to give us 49. Good. Okay, so which bit do we do next? That's all right, Louise. That's all good. So we've done our brackets. We can cross that out. Done our indices. We'll cross that out. We're going to do division next. Exactly. Because again, we're just going through the order. So we've got 9 divided by 2. So what does that give us? So feel free to use your calculators at this point if you want. Well done, Heather. Good. You're the fastest one off the block there. Good stuff. So yeah, 9 divided by 2 is going to give us 4.5. So you can see how I'm kind of changing the sum as we go along. So we've now done division. Next is multiplication. You can see we've got 4.5 times 9. So what is that going to come to? So that's the last thing we need to do. Exactly. Good. Well done. So there we go. We get to our answer, 220.5. So that's a sort of a bit of a run through of using BIDMAS. So that's really, really good. So what we're going to do on the next screen is I'm going to let you have a practice at that on your own, and we'll see how you get on. So before we do that, has anyone got any questions about BIDMAS? Anything they're not sure about? I'll just give you a couple of seconds to type if you have. If everyone's happy, maybe just put I'm good or no questions, or a few yeses or thumbs up or whatever you want. Fantastic. Good stuff. All right, nice. So let's give you a go then and see how you get on. So on the screen, you can see we've got 3 questions. We've got A, B, and C. You don't have to do all of them. Obviously, there's a lot of people in the session. Choose the one that you want to have a go at. When you put your answer, put it in the chat box, but put A and then your answer. So if you're answering A, just put A and then the answer. If you're doing B, put B in the answer. If you're doing C, put C in the answer. If you want to have a go at all of them because you're super quick, feel free. If you want to do one, that's totally fine. Yeah, if you can't access the chat box, just do it on a piece of paper next to you. So I'm just going to give you 2 minutes to have a go at least one of those questions, and we'll just see what sort of answers you will get. Okay, thanks Louise, thanks Adam, thanks Libby. So we've got 2 different answers for A, so that's interesting. So we'll just see what some other people put, and we can go over that one in a minute to check. That's all right, Louise. Dogs are notoriously bad at maths. Okay, good stuff. So I can see some answers. Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. This is looking really good. Okay, brilliant. All right, really, really good. So it seems to me that everyone's had a go at A, so we can have a quick run through at A just to make sure everyone's happy. So when you were doing question A, what did you do first? And hopefully everyone just jotted down BIDMAS in the corner. Yeah, because there wasn't any brackets, so we didn't have to do the B. There wasn't any indices, so we didn't have to do the I, but we did have a D. Actually, no, we didn't have a D, so we can ignore the D as well. We had an M, didn't we? A multiplication. Exactly, Louise. Good. So the first bit we did was this, 3 times 5. So that gave us 15. And what did we do next? We did the addition, good. So we did 15 add 2, perfect. So again, we can stick that on there. Sorry, fiddly screen. There we go. And then obviously we did 17 take away 4, which gave us our answer of 13. Good. So again, I will take a quick screenshot of this page. Obviously, if you want to do the other questions in your own time, you can obviously use that as a good bit of practice. And we will jump onto the end and just quickly summarize what we've done before finishing up. So what have we learned in the session? So a quick recap then. So what is BIDMAS? BIDMAS is the order of doing sums. BIDMAS stands for brackets, indices. Help me out, what comes next? Division, good. And the next one? Multiplication, good. Addition and subtraction. Excellent, great. So that's what BIDMAS means. BIDMAS tells us the order of doing sums. Remember, write BIDMAS on your page as a reminder. And indices is a good one to kind of remember as well. So just kind of remember what indices means. Remember, it can be a little 2 or a little 3. Okay, perfect. So before we finish off then, I'm just going to get you to give me a confidence score to wrap up the session, and then we are all done. So just taking a quick screenshot of that. Oh, in fact, sorry, I should just quickly run through these just to remind you what we've done. So we know what BIDMAS is and we know why we use it. So we've done that. You've performed correct calculations, which is really good. And we've done a very speedy kind of evaluation at the end, just because we're running out of time. And I can see people are giving me some confidence scores at the end, so that's really great. Well done. Great. Yeah, so really this is just a chance to think about BIDMAS. Ask yourself, are you confident? Do you know what it is? Do you know why you use it? And would you be confident using it for a sum? If your answer is kind of below 5, maybe do a bit more sort of revision, maybe book onto some more sessions. If you're sort of 5 or above, get onto Skills Forward. That's a really good place to get some more practice and do some of the modules on Skills Forward. Maybe ask for some worksheets and things, and just practice using it as much as possible. It's the best way to kind of get used to it, and definitely get used to sort of writing it in the bottom of your page. All right, everyone, that is the end of the session. So thank you very much.